Hey everyone, it's your girl Jossie, aka J Renee, back at it again with another video. So today we're gonna be making this three-piece set that I love so much. I made one for myself and a couple other people as well. So you gotta check me out, period. So that's what we're gonna do today. But before we get into the video, make sure you hit that subscribe button. I would really love it. Let's try to get to 150. Try to get to 150. So yeah, do that. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you like it, and let me know in the comments below what you want me to make next. So without further ado, let us get into the video.
So we are going to start out with the shorts. This pattern is one I made from my shorts video, so go take a look at that. I'm just going to pin the shorts down to the fabric. This fabric is kind of, I'm not sure what it is, and I got it from one of my old sewing teachers. And so I'm just going to cut out this pattern. The pattern I think is still a little too big, but we'll see. But I'm just going to cut out the pattern. As you can see here, I pinned it down and now I want to cut it out all the way out. I also made sure that I'm cutting out 2 of each, so fold that fabric that you have in half and cut out 2 of each. Now we're gonna just cut out the waistband. I'm overlapping 2, but you need 4 of these. I measured about 13 inches long and about 2 inches wide and cut that out. You actually need 4 of them, not just 2. So cut out 4 of them because we will later fold that in half. So next we're going to cut out this shirt. This shirt is just a regular t-shirt that I cut out into all of the parts, the back, the front, and the sleeves. So I'm just gonna cut it out exactly how I see it as my pattern. Cut all the way around the neckline and the shoulders and the armholes. And since this 3-piece set is kind of like a high crop top, like really high, we're just gonna leave a little, like an inch of space under the shoulder holes and then cut that out. And then I accidentally cut 2, but you only need 1. And so we're gonna do that to the front as well. That was the back. Now we're moving on to the front. Cut out the neck hole, the shoulder seam, and the cropped part. But since this one is the front, we're gonna crop it even more, make it like a curved edge. That one's not perfect, but it's supposed to be perfect. So now for the sleeve, we're using the sleeve that we also cut out from the same shirt that we're using for the pattern, and I literally just use my arm as a measurement, but you want to use a little less because the sleeves that we're actually making are a little like bell sleeves. So the length that I cut, I used my arm as a measurement. The length that I cut was a little too long, so I ended up having to cut more off in the end. So don't make it as long as you think you should. Make it like 4 or 5 inches less than your arm length, starting from your shoulder. So now that we have 2 of those, making sure that they're nice and even. Now we're going to cut the bell part of the sleeve as you saw in the thumbnail. So this one I didn't really cut right because it's supposed to be like wider at one end, making sure that the other end is the same width as the end of the sleeve that we already cut. So one end should be wide and the other end should be the same width as the sleeve that we just cut. You can make this all one sleeve, but I did it in 2 parts because I didn't know what I was doing at first, and that was just an experiment. Moving on to the shorts, we're going to pin the curved edges together. Like I said, if you want a full tutorial on the shorts, I do have a video of how to make 3 pairs of shorts, so you can go check that out after this video. And so take it to the sewing machine and then just sew all that down with using your presser foot as a guide. And then I'm going to top stitch it the same way on top as well. That's how it's supposed to look. So then you're gonna put the bottom back pieces of top of the front pieces and make sure the right sides are kissing. and pin those on the side. And then pin the crotch down together with right sides facing. And then once you have done that, you're just going to sew that down with a straight stitch and top stitch if you want to. So that's how they should look. Now we're going to move on to the waistband. Like I said, we needed 4 of those strips that we cut in the first place. That's why I'm cutting more now. So then we're going to cut that in half and sew them together. Taking 2 of them, pinning them on the ends at the edges, just like that. And then we're going to sew them and top stitch them together. And that's how they should look. So then we're also going to pin them together at one edge and sew that down. So then they'll look like this. Open them up and then fold them over. So then right sides will be facing, and iron that down so they will be flat and nice and even. Cut off the excess because I clearly didn't measure correctly. Then at the ends, we're going to pin those together as well to make a full circle. And sew that like so. See, in a snap, sew that just like that. And now we're gonna attach this to the shorts. So the shorts were a little too big, so I did cut them a little bit to make them fit. So starting with the 2 side seams, we're gonna pin the side seams together first, match up those seams, and then just pin all around the waistband and the shorts together. If you have not subscribed yet, please subscribe now. I would love it. Thank you. So bring it to the sewing machine. You know the deal. And just sew a straight stitch using your presser foot as a guide. But this time we're going to leave a gap so we can add in some elastic. So we're going to use some black elastic. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get this elastic from. You're going to cut the elastic to your waist measurements and then add a safety pin to it and shimmy it through the shorts, just like you've seen this before. If you watched any of my videos or anybody else's sewing videos, pretty much you've probably seen this method. So once it's all the way through the whole waistband, you want to pin it together and zigzag stitch right across the elastic. Then putting the elastic back inside the waistband, we're going to close up that hole that we used to shimmy it through and cut off all those excess threads because this fabric frayed a lot. Now we're going to top stitch, even though this is on the bottom, we're going to top stitch that down to make everything look nice and profesh. And voila! We are also now going to hem the bottom of the short. So cut it all and make sure it's even, and then we're going to double roll hem on the wrong side to make the hem at the bottom of the shorts. And just sew a straight stitch down and do that to both legs. So now moving on to the top, sorry for this angle, but we're going to match up the shoulder seams and the side seams and sew those down a straight stitch, and we are going to top stitch them as well. And so that's how they should look when they come out. Make sure your head hole is big enough. Try it on and see if you can actually put your head through it. Moving on to the sleeves, we're going to put those two together, the bell part of the sleeve and the regular sleeve together at the end where they should have a matching width, and sew that down all together. Cut off that excess so then you can top stitch it and it will look all pretty. And so I'm just cutting the sides here just to make sure they're even. I don't really know why I did this, but I think I needed to take some off anyway because the sleeve was a bit too wide. And so making sure your right sides are touching, you're gonna fold it over and pin on the outside, matching up the seams first and then matching up all the rest of them. Then we're gonna sew that down with a straight stitch like we've done the rest of them. You know the deal. Cut off all the excess and make sure it all looks pretty. Now that we have both sleeves and the top, we're gonna put the top together. So the top should be inside out and the sleeve should be right side out. So then that when we match the side seams together, it'll all be right side out when we turn it inside out, if that makes sense. That doesn't make sense, but that's okay. Match them up and then pin along the edges, and do that with both sleeves just like that. And we're gonna sew them down. And again, we're back at the sewing machine, back and forth, sewing them down, making sure everything's even. Take your time with this, don't rush it. All of this takes time. It takes time, sweetie, okay? So, all that we have to do now is hem the top, turn the top inside out, and double roll the neckline. Double roll the neckline and pin it down. Since we had to hem all the rest of the things on this top, we're gonna just pin the neckline and then double roll the hem while we are under the sewing machine. So I pinned it at the neckline, but then before we go sew that, we have to fold over the bottom of the shirt and the sleeve. Roll those over twice and then sew those down just like we did the rest of them. And voila. Oh, we are almost done. I forgot about the bralette. We need 4 pieces of this. If you want to know how I made the pieces, go check out my bralette video also for a better tutorial on how to make them. But I'm cutting out 4 of each of these pattern pieces for the bra part of the bralette. And then cutting out a 15 by 4 inch strip, cut 2 of those out. And then we're going to put the curved sides of the little triangle pieces that we cut out. We're gonna put the curved sides together with the 2 different panels that we used. And so when we sew those down, make sure you top stitch them, and you should have 4 of them. So now to make the straps, we're gonna put these 2 long rectangle pieces. Doesn't matter really what size. We're gonna need 2 straps, so they should be about 1.5 inches each, or 1 inch. I don't know, I cut that kind of small. And then fold the top edge down and fold the 2 inside edges inward twice, if that makes sense, to make the strap. Fold the top edges down and fold the insides twice so there are no raw edges showing. Like I said, for a better tutorial with this, go check out my bralette video to understand it a little more. And so once we have both of the straps down, we're gonna put 2 of the cups together with the strap on the inside facing downward. So pin the cups together on the outside edge and then sew that down. Make sure you don't get the straps caught in. And then once we've sewn that down, just cut off all the excess because this frays a lot. And then pull it out and it should look all pretty and cute. And so all we have to do now is add this to our bralette band. I did have to iron it down because, you know, some fabrics be stubborn. And so we're just gonna pin the edges down. This is kind of like the wrong way to do it, but we're gonna pin the edges together, meeting up at the middle first, and then do that with both cups. What you really want to do is pin one edge down at a time and then fold the bottom of the band upward and then pin it and then like stitch in a ditch. But that's a whole nother thing, that's a whole nother video, and I didn't even do it right here. So cut all that nasty stuff off, and then here we're gonna fold over that part that we just sewn down. We're gonna fold it over. See how it doesn't really make sense here because then we'll still have a frayed edge, but we're gonna fold that down, and then on the edges we're gonna fold inwards as well so we can hide those ends and pin them down. And so basically we're just pinning down the stitch that we just did to make a top stitch basically. And so we're gonna go from the ends all the way down the bralette just like you see here and top stitch. But last part, I'm taking some ribbon instead of making a whole nother strap. I'm taking some ribbon and just measuring it as long as I think it should be. I'm taking my pinking shears so that the edges don't fray. And then we're gonna stick the ribbon inside the little opening that we didn't sew when we were sewing down the bralette and the band together. So then we're gonna do a straight stitch right down there. And then once we've done that, we're just gonna cut off all those threads of all of the pieces that we're working on just to make sure everything is nice and finished. Iron everything down to make sure everything is flat. And last but not least, you gotta put that J. Renee logo tag on it because this is a J. Renee original. This was a custom order, so that was great. And that's how it turned out. This one was a little big for me, so I did not try this one on, but the first one that I made I will show you. So I just wanted y'all to see that the whole thing all together, how nice it looked. So this was the final look. Look at this. Look how good this looks. I love this so much. Oh my gosh. Yes, Jossie, go off. Period. Yes. And I think it all depends on what type of material you use because it won't always look like this and like, oh well. But yeah, thanks for watching, y'all. I really appreciate y'all tuning in, and I'll see y'all in the next video. So bye.